skin off here. This is the last piece of the leg.
ต้นขาของแฮมนะคะขาหมูเรียกว่าอะไรแฮมต้นขาเอาหนังออกอันนี้เราเอาหนังออกทีนี้เราแช่น้ำเกลือเอาไว้แล้วคืนหนึ่งเนาะเราก็จะอันนี้เราก็จะเอาแช่เครื่องเทศด้วย
So this one has already been washed and taken the skin off of it. We took the bone out earlier, so this is going to be a boneless ham, and later on we're going to form it like this into a ham. But first we're going to brine it.
เราเอากระดูกออกบางส่วนแฮมชิ้นนี้ประมาณ7กิโลนะคะ
So this will make a nice little ham hock that we can
You
smoke.
can also put this one inside and tie it right อันนี้ที่เราแช่ค้างคืนเอาไว้แล้วนะคะน้ำเกลือเดี๋ยวเรามาเปิดดูกันเลยแล้วเดี๋ยวก็มาล้างกันแบบเมื่อกี้นี้7กิโล
So this is the second leg. We have two legs we're doing today.
น้ำเกลือแล้วก็มะนาวเราก็จะเอาหนังออก
We put this in a temporary salt solution overnight, consisting of salt, about a cup of salt, and a few lemons. And the idea is to kind of remove the smell, because the ham around here, or the pork, has kind of a smell to it. And so we wanted to
กลิ่น
remove
แรง
the
มาก
smell.
เลยกลิ่นหมูที่นี่แรงมาก เราทานหมูเรายังว่ามันแรงเนาะ
Going to throw this away. Brine is used up. We're going to make a new brine.
ถ้าเราแช่ค้างคืนเราจะต้องแช่ไว้ How long we going to leave it for another 10 days
Yeah, it's about for this amount of ham. So it's about a day per kilo. So
7 kilo each
we don't know for sure. So
Yeah, around that.
first we have to dress it, to do this to it, and then by dressing it, then we'll weigh it, and from there we can make our
estimation after how many days
well, that and also prepare the brine, because in order to prepare the brine, this one's a little bit more pink, the bottom one. By preparing the brine, we did a better job of taking the bone out of this one. The other one is really kind of hacked. I think different people did it. One is more skillful than the other. When you're removing the bone, you have different. You try to preserve all the muscles intact. This one's done pretty well. The other one was really actually hacked up.
เราก็เอาพวกไข
So
มัน
I'm just washing this a little bit to get off some of the salt, and by washing you're taking the blood out also as well more, and get rid of that smell. So the more thoroughly washed, the better.
ของหมูก็ไม่กลิ่นก็โอเคนะถ้าเขาไม่
So now we're going to take the skin off.
ตอนนี้เราก็เอาหนังออกนะคะ
Try to take as much of the fat off too as well. Some people leave the fat on there because they think it adds more flavor, but actually the ham, it's a matter of choice. If you have like a Virginia country ham, they actually leave the skin on it and the whole fat. They just take the whole leg and cure it. But that's a dry cure. That's where you cover the whole thing in salt, or sometimes even bury the ham inside of a crate of salt, so it's totally enclosed by salt. And you leave it there for a few weeks, and then you hang it to air dry for a few months. And that's how the dry cured ones are done, by initially having a large salt concentration and then hanging them to air dry with a crust of salt on it. And that can take a few months to do that. That's how the wonderful hams from Spain and Italy are also prepared too as well. But for here, for us in Southeast Asia, we don't really have the right climate for air drying as Europe has. It's not dry enough here, it's too humid, and the meat will not cure properly unless you have a controlled atmosphere, which you can make a special room or take a refrigerator and convert it into a drying box.
หนังอันนี้เดี๋ยวเราก็จะไปต้มเอามันออกเราก็เอาไปต้มแล้วเราก็เก็บเอาไว้หั่นบางๆเก็บเอาไว้ทำอาหารนี้ต่อไปยำหนังหมู
So Siri is fixing my ham here. She's trimming it, the fat residue, leftover fat bits off, and she does such a better job than I do. So she's working on that was the one I did. This is the one that she did. So clean. Thank you, Siri.
I should let you do better than me.
Now that's looking nice and clean. So we've removed all the fat and the skin, and that's what we took out, all that big pot of stuff, which we don't need to cure that. So in the curing process, you don't need to cure the fat and the skin and everything if you don't want to. So
ก็จะทำน้ำมันนะคะน้ำมันหมู
So it just prevents the salt from penetrating in. Now when you do a wet brine as opposed to dry brine, the wet brine, you know, in like a water like this, if this was salty water brine, it actually, the process of the salt, because meat is 70% water, salt will establish what it calls equilibrium. So salt will penetrate quite well into the meat when using water as a medium. Dry brine, it takes slower. That's why the dry brining process for making ham is much longer.
So just like when you do a salad, you need to take the skin out.
The connective tissue. Yeah. The skirt, as they call it, or the
Don't need to do that, right?
No, we don't need to do that here in this case. It's all good. That's looking very good. Beautiful. Right, this is the next step. Now that we've prepared our ham, or actually we prepared our pork leg, really, is what we did, we're going to make the brine. So this is a wet brine. Basically, you have 4 ingredients to your brine. You have water, potassium nitrate, and then you also have, perhaps you may add some sugar to it, if you wish. So the first step is to take half of your water. In this case, our water is going to be about 5 liters in total. That's the brine solution that we said. The amount of brine, the liquid, you can determine this by, it's equal to about half the weight of your meat. So our meat is 11 kilos. That's a lot of ham that we're making. So we're going to have 5.5 liters of water. That would be 5.5 kilos of that. And then that sets your proportions. So for the salt, you have about 1 cup of salt per liter, per 2 liters of water. So this is 1 cup, this will be for 2 liters, and then we're going to put another cup into as well here. So sea salt of this. So that's the first one, and then this is the second cup of salt. It looks like a lot of salt, and it is. It's going to be quite salty. So one of the things you do after you cure your ham is you can rinse it off. Or if you still find it too salty, you can soak it in water for a few hours, and then as the reverse process will happen to brining. When brining, we have the salt in the water, and it goes in equilibrium into the meat. If you take the cured ham out, you put in fresh water, the salt will equalize, so half of the salt will come out again. So we have two cups of this, yeah? And then we have some brown sugar that we're going to put in. And also this is going to be about 2 cups. So we're electing to use brown sugar because with ham, I this is a matter of personal taste, but a little bit of sweetness to ham kind of adds something to it. So this is our new bag of brown sugar. So just used all the ones that we normally have sitting on the counter here for general cooking. This is triple packed. It's really good. All right, so then we have. All right, so one.
So how many cups?
It's also the same ratio of the salt
This is
and
number
the sugar.
3.
So
This is number 3, but you used.
no, this is the second cup of brown sugar I'm putting. I put 2 cups of salt in.
Okay, so that one, and this one number 2 and number 2. Okay.
Yeah, so 2 cups of sugar and 2 cups of salt. That's what I'm putting in there.
Okay. 2 cup เกลือ2
Now.
คัพน้ำตาล
So we have our water, we have our salt, 2 cups of salt, we have 2 cups of sugar. Now this is the special thing. This is your curing salt. This just arrived to us, this package. So we're going to open it up here and see what we got. Yeah. Ooh, it's very pink. So this is Instacure number 1. That's what you want. There is an Instacure number 2 also, which is slightly different. That has Instacure number 1 is basically a mixture of mostly salt and a little bit of sodium nitrite. The sodium nitrite is what actually does the curing. The Instacure 2 is salt and sodium nitrate. And the difference between this is that the Instacure 1 is used for wet curing. Instacure 2 you would use on dry curing of ham or something like that. So maybe in European style or Virginia ham style. So we're going to need quite a bit of this because we have this you have to be careful about how much you use. So the
1 tablespoon.
yeah, we're going to put 2.3 tablespoons or 2.4 tablespoons in here. This is figured out on the weight of the meat. You can't have too much of this. So this is very important you get this correct. And there are calculators of how to use this. And we use the calculator from the Amazing Ribs website, which has a very nice calculator. You put in the amount of meat, how much liquid that you're going to have, and then it calculates this all out. So this is 2 tablespoons in. So the other thing that would be, we also have a gram measurement, so it's 38 grams of this, and so that's 1. This is a lot of ham. That's 2.
11 กิโลนะคะ 2 tablespoons.
And then a little bit less than half a tablespoon, and so that'll give us the right amount. Right, so that's the trick. This is very important to use this because this is the Instacure is really what gets rid of a lot of the bacteria that you would have when you're curing something. You have to be concerned about bacteria, and there's a number of things you need to watch. One is that yes, you need to use something like this to get rid of botulism. Salt alone won't. Some cures are with salt only, but you have to be much more careful in how you're doing the curing. We're now going to heat this, and we're going to boil it so that we dissolve all the salt and the sugar, so it mixes up nicely. Then we're going to take the other half of our water, cool water, and put in here. So we don't want the brine to be hot. We don't want to cook the ham. you know, so the water has to be room temperature before you put the ham into here. And make sure that you use distilled water or purified water. Drinking water from the bottles is good. This is all good for that. So we're going to do just a little bit of, put a little bit of spice into our brine. Also, we're going to put some star anise, and we're going to put some cloves in here. So the star anise, 1 or 2 is good. Just kind of crumble it up, and we're going to boil it into there. And it's going to add a very mild background flavor to this. So that's the star anise. And then the cloves, we have a bag of nice Indonesian cloves here. This all comes from Indonesia, so it smells so good. So maybe about the same amount, roughly, a couple of pinches of cloves. And then that will give a nice background flavor to this. It doesn't really flavor it a lot. Most of your flavoring comes what you do after you brine the ham, because this is really a cold brine, so it doesn't really add too much flavor. Just a very light flavor to this. Mostly it's what you do after. Are you going to smoke it? Are you going to bake it? You know, and that's usually when you add your spices and things to the ham, and that, you know, gives flavor to the outside of the ham. We're going to tie this up. Why don't we just brine it like this? It's a kind of an odd thing. A flat piece of meat like this will take longer to brine than one that is a circular or conical shape. So if you had a ham leg that was normally a conical shape versus a pork belly, the pork belly, which is flat and not too thick, will take twice the amount of time for the salt to enter as a circular shape. And I know that's kind of hard to believe, but I was watching videos on the science of this, and it's just amazing how salt diffuses through different shapes, and for some reason that's the way that it works. So we're going to tie this up, and by doing so, we're going to reduce the amount of time that we need to spend on the brining process. So it will go from 19 days down to 10 days by doing this. That's the science of it, or the science of brining and curing meat. So we're going to do kind of a butcher tie here. We don't have to put too many loops around it. Maybe one more. So we've got some flappy bits here.
Yang ที่เขาบอกนะคะเวลาเราแช่น้ำลดแช่น้ำสไปซ์พวกนี้ถ้าเป็นเนื้อเป็นแผ่นเนี่ยจะใช้เวลานานมากกว่าเนื้อเป็นก้อนดังนั้นเราก็ต้องเอามามัดเป็นก้อนแต่อาหารพวกนี้ทางบ้านเราไทยเราไม่ค่อยมีเนาะเพราะว่าเราส่วนใหญ่เราจะทำชิ้นเล็กๆแต่ทางอาหารทางยุโรปพวกนี้เราทำทีเยอะๆเนาะชิ้นใหญ่แล้วเราก็เก็บเอาไว้ทานได้นานดังนั้นพวกอาหารที่ใช้เชือกมัดอย่างนี้มันเป็นปกติของทางยุโรปหรืออเมริกาที่ทำกันนะคะเราจะมัดให้งามกว่านี้เข้ามัดไม่งามเดี๋ยวดูอีกชิ้นหนึ่งเราจะมัด It's a pork, it's not a turkey.
Yes, I decided I need some more loops in there. I need some more loops. Oh, you should see us when we do our turkeys. My goodness.
โอเคนะคะเดี๋ยวเรามาดูกันตอนมัดเสร็จแล้วนะคะ
So this is our brine. We cooled it down. We added to the 2 liters of water, we added another 3.5 liters water, so this is 5.5 liters now with our spices and everything we'll do. Now we simply just put this in. So we shall see how we can fit this in. Hopefully that the brine will still cover the hams, or soon to be hams. Well, this is looking good. And then we got a couple of little pieces here I can probably just put like this. Maybe one like that. Okay, this is just about perfect for this. So you want the brine to completely cover the pork. If it's outside, it won't cure. So one of the tricks that you do for this is you can put a plate, something heavy on here. So submerged plate, make sure there's no air under it, and that will keep it submerged like that.
And then we cover it and then put into the refrigerator
10
for
days.
10 days นะคะก็น้ำบรายเมื่อกี้ที่ต้มนะคะก็เอาน้ำเพิ่มอีกเท่าตัวแล้วทำให้เขาเย็นเสร็จแล้วก็เอาหมูที่เราเตรียมไว้แล้วใส่อัตราส่วนของหมูกับน้ำเนี่ยพอใส่เข้าไปแล้วมันก็จะท่วมพอดีกันเลยแล้วเราก็เอาชามมาปิดเพื่อที่ไม่ให้มันลอยขึ้นมาแล้วเราก็ปิดฝาเอาเข้าตู้เย็นไว้10 วันนะคะ 10 days ค่ะ